Hi, welcome to Movie Review Mom. And for those of you who are returning subscribers, yay, you're back. I'm so glad you're here. My goal is to give you the heads up on filmmaking quality and content so that you can make the best decision for you and your family as to whether or not you want to spend time or money or both sometimes watching a specific film. So that specific film that I'm reviewing today is called Fire in the Mountains. This dramatic film has its US theatrical premiere on May 20th, 2022. It's rated R and is 82 minutes long. Let me give you an overview in a nutshell, and then I'll point out things I liked, didn't like. I'll offer tips for parents, themes worth talking about, interesting lines, funny lines, if there are any, and even recommendations for some other films that are sort of similar. I think you'll also enjoy if you like this one. All right, let's dive in. So in a nutshell, Film Forum is pleased to present the theatrical premiere of Ajit Pal Singh's Fire in the Mountains. In northern India, a breathtakingly beautiful Himalayan community attracts tourists by commingling South Asian and Swiss Alps aesthetics. Debut filmmaker Singh tells an unconventional story of feminist strength while accentuating the region's spectacular exteriors and wide canvas nature shots. One local woman competes with her neighbors for business while battling the strict traditions of patriarchy, a local infrastructure that is mired in government apathy and religious superstitions. She saves money, uses feminine wiles to subvert the corrupt powers that be, and piggybacks her son up and down the mountainside to get medical attention at appointments with condescending doctors. In the end, our heroine's tightly wound grit must find release, either in triumph, madness, or both. Fire in the Mountains premiered at the 2021 Sundance Film Festival in the World Dramatic Competition, and it actually won the Audience Award for Best Feature at the 2021 Indian Film Festival of Los Angeles. So let me tell you the list of things that I really liked about this movie. First of all, you get to see beautiful place on earth, way up high in the Himalayas in India. It's fascinating to hear accounts on the radio about how India is close to becoming one of the leading countries in the world, while we watch scenes of how this community is most definitely living in a third world country. I love seeing the country itself and how the people live, what they eat, what they wear, where they sleep and cook, and every aspect of their lives. I've always wanted to travel to India, but haven't made it over there just yet. So we'll see. My twin sister went and she said the food was so spicy. And I can't handle spice. So I don't know. We'll see if I can get over there or not. But it's interesting to see that no matter how poor some of these people are, they still have cell phones. How on earth did they get good cell phone coverage way up in those mountains? That's impressive and partially unbelievable, right? I was surprised to see how often people walked around on the roof of their houses. That's just not something that we do here in the United States. We get to see an interesting way a young girl stays awake so that she can study. She ties her ponytail up to the wall so that it'll pull her head back up if she starts to nod off. I thought that was creative. Now, a couple of times you get to actually see a leopard, and these people live and die by nature all around them. You hear the villagers running by, leopard on the loose. Can you imagine? It's sweet how everyone refers to each other as a sister or brother, auntie, etc., even if they're not related. The school children, and we see them do this, recite lines together at school saying that everyone in India is their brother or sister. And I think, how sweet is that? I wish more Americans felt that way, or were reminded of that, I should say. The title of the movie is clever because it refers to a pivotal bonfire ceremony that takes place high up in the mountains, but it also refers to the fire inside the main wife's spirit. The actors in the film feel like real people rather than actors. It almost feels like a documentary because of the realism. And I thought that that was really great. Now, there were some things that I didn't quite like or thought could have been done better. First of all, it's sad and so depressing to watch the somber details of this family's life. Things go from bad to worse, and we rarely see anyone smile in the entire film. There are a few moments when the director tries to get creative, but otherwise, the cinematography is pretty straightforward. Some reviewers will complain that nothing really happens for a long time in the film. And that's partly true, but I think that there's also purpose in that you begin to feel that same drudgery, that endless monotony that wife is feeling, and just the frustration she must feel when she has to deal with all of the things that she has to deal with. Let me give you some tips for parents. First of all, children are going to be bored, and so will some parents or adults. You have to read subtitles. Sometimes there's profanity and F-bombs that you have to read on the screen. A man watches porn on his cell phone. Now, we don't see anything, but we hear the sound effects and we watch him. A woman touches herself while looking in a mirror. She's fully clothed, though. You see someone chop a goat's head off like it's the real deal. And as Americans, we're not used to seeing that. A teenage girl gets beaten up by her father as punishment. A wife gets beaten up by her husband as punishment. A man gets drunk often. A mother slaps her son and tells him to stop crying like a girl. It's a very brutal, visceral film, in other words. Some of the themes that are illustrated very well in the film are patriarchy, family, traditions, superstitions, religious fervor, deceit, marriage and equal partnerships, or the lack thereof, hard work, the fierce love of mothers, and hypocrisy. Now, I usually write down funny lines and interesting lines, and I have them on my written review at moviereviewmom.com, but I didn't write any funny lines. This is a pretty serious drama. There were maybe a few moments where I kind of chuckled maybe on the inside, but nothing worth writing down. It's definitely not a comedy. But I'll share an interesting line that I wrote down. And that was when the daughter was talking to her drunk father, and he comes into the house and he's drunk, and, and she says, "Are you drunk?" And then she says, "You're more charming when you're not drunk." Isn't that the truth? Overall, I think this isn't a movie that you enjoy. It's a movie that you can learn from for sure as you reflect on how people are still living around the world. And it gives great fodder for conversations with the people that you watch the movie. My overall movie review mom score is a C. Now, before we go, I want to give you a recommendation for another movie that I thought of. It's a film on Netflix called The White Tiger. Now, I don't remember it being a true story, but it does paint a picture of life in India. But on the other side, it definitely shows poverty, but then it also shows the other side where there's money. And some of these same issues come to light, the themes that I listed. Anyway, I thought it was really interesting because I've never been to India. I think it's fascinating to see Indians portray their own country as well. All right, that's it for my review. I hope that if you watch this movie that you do get something out of it. And thank you so much, as always, for supporting my channel. Be sure and subscribe if you haven't yet. And visit me on Instagram and on my Facebook group when you've got a minute. I'd love to see you there. Have a fantastic day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.